Hey, you know what?
All right, we're
The
here.
the views and opinions expressed on Sober Boys belong solely to the host. This podcast has no official affiliation with Alcoholics Anonymous. This show is in no way providing mental or physical health advice. If struggling, please seek out professional help with the links we'll provide in the show notes.
Don't forget it.
Don't even for once
Don't
forget
even
it.
for one time in your life forget that
Yeah.
what we just said is how we feel.
Mm-hmm.
Drew,
Taylor.
hey, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Welcome back.
It's been a second.
It's been a week or so, but and we're slowly but surely running out of backlog episodes.
Yeah, they don't need to know that. We can keep it a secret.
Shh. Don't tell new listeners.
Taylor's got his snake wrangler outfit on.
Snakes be needing wrangled.
You look like you deal with venomous snakes.
Not that venomous. Though.
just like
Not quite.
just like copperheads, just like they'll ruin your day. Not in black mambas.
You'll definitely welt up.
Yeah. You got stuff for that in one of your torn off shirt pockets.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about this shirt. Only one pocket.
Yeah. Or a sexy young Larry the Cable Guy. We've already talked about that.
We talked about that outside. I said, please don't mention that on pod, and then he did.
No, but I mean, I missed that part.
Yeah. Oh, I said it under my breath.
Oh.
Don't fucking say
yeah. Sorry, I really missed that. No, like Larry the Cable Guy would choose you to play young him because he wants an attractive person to play him.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
Drew's hitting on me now, which is a very weird direction for the podcast to go.
I'm just trying to boost up your
That's true.
self-esteem.
It was low. We've had lady problems recently, but it's fine.
People go have lady problems. I had work problems, so
Yeah.
there we go.
It happens. It's life on life's terms.
Oof.
What do we
isn't it
do?
ever.
What do we do to deal with it
Hey, Taylor, what'd you do to stay sober today?
today? I woke up basking in the sunlight of the spirit. No, I prayed. I prayed at this window over here.
Not to
looking
the
out.
wall?
All the Lil Jon song. And that's why I did. I prayed over there because I was like, I've been through so much yesterday. I can just stand up and pray today.
You sing like a Johnny Cash song?
Yeah. There's a man going around taking prayers. It's God. Shout out to Johnny Cash.
Is that, yeah.
So that's what I did today. And yeah, prayed over here. That's really it.
Yeah. You did some work and stuff like that.
I worked today, and it's been emotionally. It's been very. I took a nap today because emotionally yesterday I was just very exhausted.
Yeah.
And dealing with emotional stuff like that is very exhausting for me.
Hey, I'm kind of around the same thing. I'm not so much dealing with like emotional stuff with personal relationships so much as you are, which we're not going to get into that, but we're both dealing with emotional stuff. For me, it's just working a bunch. And what I'm supposed to say is, be grateful for the work that's been given to me through this work in this program. That's what I'm supposed to say.
Yeah.
Which is the reality of the situation. But I don't feel that way right now. So I'm going to completely honest and be like, sometimes shit sucks, but
well, I mean,
I don't have to drink over it.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this shit.
It's wonderful to have a job and be doing it, but then eventually, like anything in my life, I get used to it eventually. And like, I don't want to do this all the time.
But the thing that I don't see until I see it is that the stress bubble that I've been pushing against me also goes away. And then I get back into my meeting routines and I get back into talking to guys. And so if I drink, I don't have that opportunity.
No, yeah. And I need to, this week, I just need to get back into a better meeting routine because I started seeing a new girl, but then I got a new truck. And that was just, I went out of town the past 2 weekends.
It's the country song in reverse. You gained a girl, you gained a truck, you just need a dog.
That's the AA country song.
Yeah.
You're getting all this stuff. Yeah.
That's the 9 step promises of
There
just
should be a
country
song.
songs in reverse.
There's a song, this comedy duo they live here now, Good Cop, Rad Cop, and they do comedy music, but they showed me a song yesterday about, it's like, I'm parked down at the lake. And the lyric is just like, I'm parked down at the lake, like 80 miles from San Antonio. And he just says that in different ways for the whole 3 minutes of the song.
That sounds great.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
It's a good song, too. It sounds like a normal country song.
Yeah.
But this band, Good Cop, Rad Cop, they have a good, they're very funny.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, they have one of their songs.
I've seen them live before.
Oh, yeah. Wait, where'd you see them? Oh, you were on my show. Yeah. You didn't hear their country song. They have one where it's like jeans, beer, or something about jeans, beer, truck situation. And it's just like a country song.
Old? school country is really great.
I love it.
Great storytelling. My mom and my dad went to L.A. this past weekend to celebrate Willie Nelson's 90th birthday.
Oh yeah, he was old. They went there.
He is old. He's still alive.
What did I say? To say he was old?
He was old. He's still
he was
alive.
old yesterday, and he was old yesterday.
90 years
too.
old.
Wow.
And every single kind of like classic old school country guy went out and celebrated, along with Snoop Dogg, because of course.
Yeah. Snoop Double G.
But like Sturgill Simpson, Chris Stapleton, all the guys who like sound classic and good.
Coulter Wall?
I don't know. Billy Strings.
Oh, Billy Strings. I heard he did good. They're talking about it on a podcast I listen to, but you hate.
I don't like the people that he has on that podcast.
Of course.
So we'll move on. Anyways, yay for country.
Yay for country.
And we're going to get back into this here book.
Yeah, we should.
We're in More About Alcoholism. This is page 37. I think it would be good. I didn't realize this until just now in my head. We should probably like mention what page we start on.
Oh, yeah. Because we just read the whiskey story.
The whiskey milk story.
The whiskey milk story. Oh, wait.
He kept putting whiskey in that milk. And now we're on 37. You may think it's an extreme
We're
case.
almost to my favorite part.
Oh, shit. Can you show? Look.
It's
my
favorite
all
part.
Highlighted.
Yeah, this is my favorite part.
Oh my!
You know,
God.
It's my favorite part because I highlighted it.
Yeah. It's like, don't give it away.
Well, what happens at this part is I really like it.
Oh
and
man,
it's the
I
part
cannot wait.
When I read, I just weep and I weep and I burn the house down. What's the bad wolf?
That's something to look forward to. Is Taylor crying and burning his apartment down when we get to that?
I want to see the Three Little Pigs story where the wolf cries and he still burns the house. He wept and he wept and he burned the house down, blew the house down, or washed it away.
Wolf just having emotional problems. He just wants companionship.
Yeah,
he's just acting out.
And there's just the misconception that wolves eat pigs. Not this wolf.
And pigs are just assholes. And he just wanted to be part of their dance party.
Yeah,
it's a German discotheque tale.
Yeah, you can't be part of a party.
You can't be part of your wolf.
We are dancing pigs, not wolves.
Yeah, you can't. You don't know the steps.
Your feet are too big.
We only have hooves.
We have hooves. You have paws.
No, they're not hooves. They're trotters or something like that.
What?
What are pig's feet called? Pig's feet?
Yeah, I mean pickled pig's eggs.
All right,
feet. Let's get into the book.
We gotta stay on the book because my computer died, so that's why you're listening to raw, unedited footage on our podcast.
Notoriously Taylor's favorite way to listen to the podcast.
So we really got to get into this. So do you want to start?
Yeah,
All right.
do. Thank you for letting me start.
Yeah. It's after the whiskey milk story, the first big paragraph of page 37.
You may think.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys remember the milk story, guy pouring whiskey and milk thinking, this will be fun.
Putting whiskey and milk in there.
I won't get drunk from whiskey in my milk.
It's too gross to get me drunk.
It's too disgusting. So here we go. I'm sure there's some cocktail some bar has made in honor of, like, there's some bars that are like relapse themed or like, I don't know, but
like the Frisky Jaywalker.
That would
be a title of a cocktail.
Dr. Bob's Nightmare.
Yeah. That's a sake bomb.
A sake Irish bomb.
Yeah,
yes,
a sake Irish car bomb.
Yeah. Oh God. With some chocolate syrup on top. Here we go.
Right.
You may think this an extreme case, the whiskey story. To us, it is not far-fetched, for this kind of thinking has been characteristic of every single one of us. We have sometimes reflected more than Jim did upon the consequences.
Jim's the whiskey milk guy.
He's a whiskey milk guy, but there was always the curious mental phenomenon that, parallel with our sound reasoning, there inevitably ran some insanely trivial excuse for taking the first drink. Our sound reasoning failed to hold us in check. The insane idea worn out. Next day, we would ask ourselves, in all earnestness and sincerity, how it could have happened. In some circumstances, we have gone out deliberately to get drunk, feeling ourselves justified by nervousness, anger, worry, depression, jealousy, or the like. But even in this type of beginning, we are obliged to admit that our justification for a spree was insanely insufficient in the light of what always happened. We now see that when we began to drink deliberately, instead of casually, there was little serious or effective thought during the period of premeditation of what the terrific consequences might be.
Yeah, you just went out and did it.
Yeah.
I have in my head I'm going to go out and drink, so I'm going to do it. Every relapse was like that strong, sense and feeling of nobody can tell me anything. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I do. I have, because yesterday and today, because I've just been emotionally like just exhausted by this thing. I have had a few like last night. Last night, I'm quitting vaping once again for the 50th time.
Hey,
I ran out of it.
I have a book for you to read if you're having trouble.
I can't read.
Alan Carr, baby. We'll talk about that later.
Mine ran out, so I threw it away. But I hit some of my friends last night because I was feeling whatever. Nicotine's weird. Like when you haven't hit it in a while, it makes me like very, like almost dizzy. I'm like, oh, it's strong.
Oh, if you haven't hit nicotine in a while, it will get you lightheaded.
Yeah, it's crazy. But I hit that, and then because I was feeling the way I was feeling, that made me feel different. And then I had a quick thought. I was like, I'm going to drink tonight. I want to
feel more different, right?
I was like, I'm going to drink tonight. And then I've had that thought, and I didn't. I'm good.
Did you call anybody when you had that thought?
No. I was at a comedy show, though. And then I did comedy, and it was good.
Okay, well, you did something.
Yeah, no. And then, but that did scare me last night. Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to hit this again because it like just made me feel... And just emotionally, I was able to recognize, like, oh, I'm in this emotionally different place than normal. I don't like how it makes me feel. Drinking would help this.
Can I say something that might not be so satisfactory?
Yes.
I'm not glad, but I thought coming into this recording of the podcast, I'd be like, oh, I kind of feel like crap. I don't feel like my normal self. I'm going to have to like maybe fake it with Taylor because he's been on such a roll. I'm kind of glad we're both kind of hitting a wall because we get to show people that we're still doing this thing.
Yes.
And it's going to pass.
And things are...
I don't feel so alone, so I appreciate it.
And things are fine.
And I'm not saying that I want you to be in this place, but I'm saying... You know what I'm saying?
But if we're going to feel like shit, let's feel like shit,
we feel like shit
at
together.
the same time.
I'm glad we feel like shit together.
And we'll go. It'll be fine.
Well, I can be as super open and honest as possible. So that's good.
Yeah, Drew and I are relapsing today. So, no,
look under your chair.
Just kidding. It's a joke.
Watermelon La Croix, anybody?
Yeah. Lemon chill La Croix, anyone? I was drinking
tea. Yeah. Anyways, the point of the paragraph was when a relapse happens, it's not there isn't a lot of constructive thought behind it.
Yeah, and for me right now, I think that's where my sponsor said a few times, "Oh, this step is where the rubber meets the road." Whatever is where the
he's still your sponsor.
The boys what?
I was joking. I was like, and he's still your sponsor after him saying that?
The rubber meets the road. It's where the boys become bigger boys.
Not quite a man. Not quite a woman.
No.
That Britney Spears song.
I don't know who Bernie Spear is. Sounds like some idiot.
Britney Spears cover.
Oh, Britney. Lady. I thought you said Bernie Smears.
Oh, I thought you were making another joke.
Oh, I thought you called Britney Spears Bernie Smears.
Let me explain my joke. Britney Spears had a... Britney Spears... Now I said it's Britney Spears.
I thought you said Bernie Smears. I thought you were saying Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Spears had a song said, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman.
Okay.
I said, I'm not a man. Then I said, not yet a woman, the Britney Spears song. Okay. It's not really her song. Therein lies the joke.
Oh, I didn't get it.
No one does now. It's all ruined. Guys, it's all ruined.
Guys, hey, do me a favor. Leave some supportive comments for Drew down in the below here because
I don't need anybody's support.
Drew, we don't need you. We don't need this. I just need this lamp and this pool stick. That's a jerk reference.
Schmirk?
The Schmirk.
I thought you said schmork.
No, don't pretend to be me from earlier. Okay, let's get back into it.
All right, sorry. Back to the book.
Back to the book.
Our behavior.
Our behavior is an absurd and it's my favorite voice to do. Our behavior is an absurd and incomprehensible. Is as absurd and incomprehensible with respect to the first drink as that of an individual with a passion, say, for jaywalking. Oh yeah, my
baby.
God.
Get ready for this story.
Oh, shoot. He gets a thrill out of skipping in front of fast-moving vehicles. He enjoys himself for a few years in spite of friendly warnings. Up to this point, you would label him as a foolish chap having queer ideas of fun. The book said that. I didn't say that.
Can you read that sentence again?
Yeah.
The whole sentence starting from up. It's so good.
Up to this point, you would label him as a foolish chap having queer ideas of fun.
Way to go, Bill.
Bill is very happy. Bill is proud in his grave right now.
Yeah.
Luck then deserts him, and he is slightly injured several times in succession. like the TV show. You would expect him... I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Luck then deserts him, and he is slightly injured several times in succession. Because he's in the show Succession.
Fuck off. Read the book.
I'm sorry.
Read the book and fuck off.
Luck then deserts him, and he is slightly injured several times in succession. You would expect him, if he were normal, to cut it out. Presently, he is hit again, and this time has a fractured skull. Oh, no. Within a week after leaving the hospital, a fast-moving trolley car breaks his arm. He tells you he has decided to stop jaywalking for good, but in a few weeks, he breaks both his legs. Whoa.
Oh, boy. The mob didn't even do it.
No. Well, maybe the mob kind of was tied in with the trolley car, but we don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 1930s and 40s New York. They have to be.
The mob ran everything. Mm-hmm. Your barbershop. On through the years, this conduct continues, accompanied by his continual promises to be careful or to keep off the streets altogether. Finally, he can no longer work. His wife gets a divorce, and he's held up to ridicule. He tries every known means to get the jaywalking idea out of his head. He shuts himself up in an asylum, hoping to mend his ways. But the day he comes out, he races in front of a fire engine, which breaks his back. Such a man would be crazy, wouldn't he? Wouldn't he, Drew?
Oh, you're asking me? Yes, he would be crazy.
To take it away.
Yeah. You may think our illustration is too ridiculous, which I did when I was younger about this. I thought it was very silly. But is it? We who have been through the ringer have to admit that if we substituted alcoholism for jaywalking, the illustration would fit us exactly. However intelligent we may have been in other respects, where alcohol had been involved, we had been strangely insane. It's strong language, but isn't it true? Some of you are thinking, yes, what you tell us is true, but it doesn't fully apply. Well, before we move on, that jaywalking thing, I like it because it sounds so ridiculous that it forces you to pay attention. And it's very, if your alcoholism is killing you, it's the same thing as jaywalking, which would be also killing you.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. But it's so ridiculous. You're like, that's dumb. And then it starts a fucking conversation. So I like it now. I didn't used to because I was like, come on.
It makes sense.
Come on,
honestly,
man.
Drew, if you think about it, and apropos to your younger self, it really is the perfect analogy for what we...
You didn't know what you were going to say after that,
what we go through on a daily basis. Drew, if we were to drink today, people would be like, you might as well have been hit by a trolley and broke your arm.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, exactly.
Apropos of that.
Do you know what apropos means?
Let's keep reading.
Okay. But yeah, just so ridiculous enough, it might help you think about your drinking. That's what that analogy is there for.
Because alcoholism can be pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. We're going to get more into that, about that.
Does this book get more ridiculous?
At least this chapter does.
Whoa.
Yeah, at least more into alcoholism.
We're going to be around Fred soon.
Anyways, back to the book. Some of you are thinking, yes, what you tell us is true, but it doesn't fully apply. We admit we have some of these symptoms, but we have not gone to the extremes you fellows did, nor are we likely to, for we understand ourselves so well after what you have told us that such things cannot happen again. We have not lost everything in life through drinking, and we certainly do not intend to. Thanks for the information. That may be true of certain non-alcoholic people who, though drinking foolishly and heavily at the present time, are able to stop or moderate because their brains and bodies have not been damaged as ours were. But the actual potential alcoholic, with hardly any exception, will be absolutely unable to stop drinking on the basis of self-knowledge. That sentence was in italics. Cha-cha-ching.
Lots of quarters on this one.
Yeah.
Because you have to put quarters in the typewriter.
To change the font.
Yes.
And then pull the lever. Yeah. This is how italics are done. You in the printing press. Yeah. So there's a button. There you go.
And as it slowly runs out of time, it's the words slowly shift back to the other way.
Like a pumpkin,
or maybe the whole machine goes sideways.
We'll have to table this conversation and imaginative conversation for later. Anyways, the important thing is self-knowledge doesn't do anything for us. Well, it does something, but not everything. Back to the book. This point we wish to emphasize and re-emphasize to smash home upon our alcoholic readers as it has been revealed to us out of bitter experience. Let us take another illustration. Fred is a partner in a well-known accounting firm. His income is good. He has a fine home and is happily married and the father of promising children of college age. He is so attractive a personality that he makes friends with everyone. If you ever call him a Drew or a Taylor, if you will.
Yeah, really. Just enigmatic.
Oh man. If ever there was a successful businessman, it is Fred. To all appearance, he is a stable and well-balanced individual. Yet he is alcoholic. We first saw Fred about a year ago in the hospital where he had gone to recover from a bad case of jitters. And it was his first experience of this kind, and he was much ashamed of it. Far from admitting he was an alcoholic, he told himself he came to the hospital to rest his nerves. The doctor intimated strongly that he might be worse than he realized. For a few days, he was depressed. Sorry, I'll read that again. For a few days, he was depressed about his condition. He made up his mind to quit drinking altogether. It never occurred to him that perhaps he could not do so, in spite of his character and standing. Fred would not believe himself an alcoholic, much less accept a spiritual remedy to his problem. We told him what we knew about alcoholism. He was interested and conceded that he had some symptoms, but he was a long way from admitting that he could do nothing about it himself. Mm-hmm. He was positive that his humiliating experience, plus the knowledge he had acquired, would keep him sober for the rest of his life. Self-knowledge would fix it. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of college days when I was like, I made a fool of myself. I don't know what the fuck I did.
Yes.
I'm embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Not drinking like that again.
Yeah.
The very next day, I'm drinking like that again. Uh-huh. And I wake up and I'm like, holy shit, I drink like that again. Yeah. The fuck? And it goes like over there.
But yeah, the idea that it was ever a spiritual malady did not occur for me. I don't know, man, until like maybe only like a year ago.
Yeah.
Is when I finally realized it was a...
Took me a long time, too. You heard God and everything in my head. I'm like, that's great. I don't see God.
Yeah.
I don't see a hand helping me, so I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Back to Fred's little story. We heard no more of Fred for a while. One day we were told that he was back in the hospital. This time he was quite shaky. He soon indicated that he was anxious to see us. The story he told us is most instructive, for here was a chap, another chap, shout out to the chaps. Here was a chap absolutely convinced he had to stop drinking, who had no excuse for drinking, who exhibited splendid judgment and determination in all his other concerns, yet was flat on his back nevertheless. Let him tell you about it. And this is Fred telling us about it. I was much impressed with you fellows, what you fellows said about alcoholism, and I frankly did not believe it. Would it be possible for me to drink again? I rather appreciated your ideas about the subtle insanity which preceded the first drink, but I was confident it could not happen to me after what I had learned. So he read the doctor's opinion. He's good to go. I reasoned I was not so far advanced as you fellows, that I had been usually successful in looking at my other personal problems, and that I would therefore be successful where you men failed. Ooh, Fred getting cheeky with it. Suck it, suckers. Back to the book. That's just kind of his ego going. I felt I had every right to be self-confident, that it would be only a matter of exercising my willpower and to keep on guard. In this frame of mind, I went about my business, and for a time, all was well. I had no trouble refusing drinks and began to wonder if I had been making too hard a work of a simple matter. That's fair. Sure, go for it.
Damn, he got to drinking. It was okay.
Yeah, it was like, no big deal.
Fred.
One day, I went to Washington to present some accounting evidence to a government bureau. I had been out of town before during this particular dry spell, so there was nothing new about that. Physically, I felt fine. Neither did I have any pressing problems or worries. My business came off well. I was pleased and knew my partners would be too. It was the end of a perfect day, not a cloud on the horizon. I went to my hotel and leisurely dressed for dinner. Italics again, cha-ching.
Oh, he put the quarters in.
As I crossed the threshold of the dining room, the thought came, I gotta quit laughing at the serious parts. As I crossed the threshold of the dining room, the thought came to mind that it would be nice to have a couple of cocktails with dinner. That was all, nothing more. I ordered a cocktail in my meal. Then I ordered another cocktail. After drinking, I decided to take a walk. When I returned to the hotel, When I returned to the hotel, it struck me a highball would be fine before going to bed, so I stepped into the bar and had one. I remember having several more that night and plenty the next morning. I have a shadowy recollection of being in an airplane bound for New York and of finding a friendly taxicab driver at the landing field instead of my wife. The driver escorted me about for several days.
What did he do? I've always thought,
I want to see that movie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know Fred's in a way, and he's an alcoholic, but he's saying a taxi cab driver went on a bender with him for several days.
Several days.
That sounds like a Judd Apatow romp.
That's 3 days at least.
Yeah, that's what several means.
Oh my God. And I mean, where did he go? No phones? What does his wife think?
He might be dead. That's the insanity of alcoholism.
How often do people think people were dead before cell phones?
Ooh, man. Yeah. We were supposed to meet at the mall, but I guess they're dead.
I guess they're dead.
Oh, man. I was supposed to be on this blind date, but I guess she's dead.
You missed your dentist appointment. The dentist is like, where's Mr. Smith?
Guess his teeth are dead.
I guess his teeth are, yeah.
He's dead. Need to fill that cavity because his whole self is dead.
The doctor's not in today. Is he dead? Did he die again?
Yeah. They keep getting reborn. Shit. Back to the story. All right. Finding a friendly taxi cab driver at the landing field instead of my wife. The driver escorted me for several days. I know little of where I went or what I said and did. Then came the hospital with unbearable mental and physical suffering. As soon as I regained my ability to think, I went carefully over what happened or went over that evening in Washington. Italics again. Not only had I been off guard, I had made no fight whatever against the first drink. This time, I had no thought of the consequences at all. I had commenced to drink as carelessly as though the cocktails were ginger ale.
If only.
If only. I now remember that my alcoholic friends had told me how they prophesized that if I had an alcoholic mind, the time and place would come, I would drink again.
Drew, we're so close.
Oh, shit, we're so close. I'm going to pass it off to you very shortly.
We're doing good today.
I think so.
I think it's because we're both tired.
Yeah, and sad. And, like, mad at ourselves.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, like, I don't know if it's alcoholism or just being a person, but when I feel like this, it's like, did I do something wrong?
No.
Like, I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
No.
I'm really not.
It's the ebbs and flows of life, my friend.
Hey, girls, stop! Don't be confusing. Cut it out.
That's all we'll say in the podcast.
Yeah,
we're very sorry that you're dealing with your emotional. We'll talk about it later, but we're both not 100%, and that's okay.
But I do tonight. The one of the guys at the the Punchline. He messaged me last night on Instagram. He said, "Hey, are you coming to the mic tomorrow?" And he said because he talked to Marcy, who is kind of like the Atlanta. Mitzi Shore.
Okay.
Of sorts.
Is that the Comedy Store lady?
Yeah. But she books the Punchline. She's been working there forever. But this guy brought me up to Marcy, and asked.
It's funny that
I know, right? Yeah. Because he said the regulars just they've been slacking or whatever, or just not been up. They've not been great. But he brought up my name, and she's like, "Oh, can he come in tomorrow?" So I have a guaranteed spot on the mic tonight, but.
Tonight?
Yeah.
All right.
I just have if I do good, you can get regular work there.
It's pretty
exciting. Good. It's something to look forward to.
The Laughing Skull. Atlanta's...
The Punchline.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Yes. The comedy club attached to a diner.
There you go.
And I saw Sam Morril here.
I saw Sam Morril there too.
Yes.
You have to buy something there, and everything's inedible. That's always the challenge.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Their Oreo cheesecake's pretty good, though.
All right. Well, there you go.
Wait, hold on. Don't talk too much shit about the Landmark Diner. What if they listen to this? And I never get work there again.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
They're not going to listen to this.
Everything's delicious there. I mean it.
It is expensive.
All right. Back to congratulations, Taylor. There you go.
This will be good.
We're both.
I own the club now.
There you go. Back to Fred's story. This is the top of 42. And he's talking about his alcoholic people. They had said that though I did raise a defense, it would one day give way before some trivial reason for having a drink. Well, just that did happen and more. For what I had learned of alcoholism did not occur to me at all. I knew from the moment that I had an alcoholic mind. I saw that willpower and self-knowledge would not help those strange mental blank spots. I had never been able to understand people who had said that a problem had them hopelessly defeated. I knew then it was a crushing blow. So there you go. He had that kind of realization, an act of desperation, if you will. Once you've kind of had that realization, like, he's good to go for the steps.
He's good to go. Hey, Fred, you're good to go. Your life, you're cured.
You're ready to.
You figured it out.
You're ready to step on.
You have all the self-knowledge in the world, Fred.
Yeah. Well,
but that is the point where it's like there's no going back, Fred.
No.
You can't forget that. And even if you forget what you know, it's not going to change the fact that it might be an alcoholic, my friend.
Yeah, you get to that point, like we said before, a belly full of beer and a mind full of AA is just the worst feeling in the world.
Whenever someone says belly full of beer, I picture like medieval
Bert
people,
Kirshner?
like people in a pub, like in medieval times.
Oh, that's fun.
Belly full of beer.
They're doing like little
sea shanties for some reason.
Shanties. Yeah. Once you kind of had that realization, going back to drinking, like every time I relapsed, I just shut my brain off, because if I thought of anything that I was doing, I would be miserable again.
But that shutting my brain off thing that just disconnects me from the world altogether.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, now I'm just not even experiencing life.
It's a very lonely place to be.
It is. Isolation and just feeding the beast.
Yeah. Do you want to pick it up as we head towards your favorite part?
Yeah. Okay. 2 of the members of Alcoholics Anonymous came to see me. They grinned. Bill, come on.
Told you so, you little bitch.
What's that?
That's what they didn't say in the book was that every time an alcoholic says "Told you so, you little bitch."
What was that cat? The Cheshire Cat. They're smiling at the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah.
That's an Alice in Wonderland reference, in case you guys aren't read like
Escape
me.
through the hole.
True, don't scare them.
Follow the rabbit.
True, you're scaring them.
Matrix.
Camera's cowering in the corner. Camera, we're so sorry. Okay, they grinned, which I didn't like so much, and then asked me if I thought myself alcoholic and if I were really licked this time. Well, we got to do the old. Okay. I don't know if we had to do that, actually.
It was licked like an ice cream cone.
I had to concede both propositions. They piled on me heaps of evidence to the effect that an alcoholic mentality, such as I had exhibited in Washington, was a hopeless condition. Yeah. They cited cases out of their own experience by the dozen, like eggs. This process snuffed out the last... And one more dozen thing before we go on. What's one more dozen thing you can think of right now?
Oh, my. Cheaper by the dozen. The children, cheaper by the dozen.
That's exactly it. They cited cases out of their own experience cheaper by the dozen. This process snuffed out the last flicker of conviction that I could do the job myself. So he can't anymore. He figured out he
needs an outside source, and it's usually helpful if you find a spiritual outside source.
Yeah. Like, God
or a group of drunks.
Yeah, or
good orderly direction.
Or
gee, oughta dive into God.
Yeah. Oh, poor Fred.
Fred.
Then they outlined the spiritual answer and program of action, which 100 of them had followed successfully. Though I had been only... Man, can you think about how crazy it was starting this? The beginning of this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a non-harmful cult.
Yeah, and they're just like...
A cult to help people.
At what point, like, wow, we're really on to something. And are they like, wow, we're really figuring this out and we're not doing it. It's kind of God directing us. But, I mean, they must have been so scared sometimes, like, oh, we're not doing this right at all.
I mean,
I
that's what the traditions are for. We'll get into like a traditions talk with a guest.
Everyone's favorite type of meetings, tradition meetings.
Yeah. We'll do
gratitude and tradition meetings.
Maybe we'll do it with like an old timer or something, a guest or something like that. Yeah. That has a good idea of the traditions, because that's what happened. There was trial and they used to have meetings with beer sometimes.
Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like they had an offshoot of AA where they thought beer wasn't that bad, so they passed around beer.
Crazy.
I swear to God.
Just got drunk.
Yeah. But that's why the traditions were formed,
drunk.
and like that's why like central agency was formed, or central office was formed.
The Central Alcoholic Agency.
We'll get into
the drunk version of the CIA.
But yeah, it must have been a pretty cool and also kind of frightening feeling, because you're like, I don't know what to.
Yeah.
Because we're just figuring this shit out.
Because for me, it's like when I'm trying to, like, if I don't know, creating something, I'm like, I'm just me. I'm not like, I'm not capable of producing something that other people are going to like, or it's going to have an effect on people.
Yeah.
And maybe
that's called imposter
syndrome.
Yeah.
But it's like, so I can't imagine.
But I'm sure some of the start, like Bill would always like have such a difficult time with dealing with just him being an alcoholic and a person, and then people seeing him as like almost a deity.
Yeah.
Because he started this thing that saved so many people.
Yeah.
And that's probably, he had crippling depression the end of his years.
Wow.
Because of that. Well, because of a lot of stuff. But that would play a factor.
That's crazy.
But
rest in peace.
Yeah, please. Back to we gotta get to your favorite part.
Bill, please just rest.
We gotta get to your favorite part.
Then they outlined the spiritual answer and program of action, which 100 of them had followed successfully. Though I had been only a nominal churchman, their proposals were not intellectually hard to swallow. But the program of action. though, yeah, the entirely sensible. That's what I said.
I have action circled in my book, so I just heard you say action. I was like, action.
And action. But the program of action, though entirely sensible, was pretty drastic. It meant I would have to throw several lifelong conceptions out of the window. That was not easy, but the moment I made up my mind to go through with the process, I had the curious feeling that my alcoholic condition was relieved, as in fact it proved to be.
I like the but the program
Keep
of action.
Quick.
The program of action, though entirely sensible, was pretty drastic.
Yeah.
You hear a lot in the meetings. I heard it today.
Yeah.
Was that the program is simple but not easy. And that's true. It's like we're kind of feeling the challenges of finding consistency in this thing. We're just being challenged with everyday life stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll get through it and we'll grow from it and be better off because of it. But at the same time, having it's such a progress, like we talk about everything. It's such a progress thing.
Sometimes progress feels backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we're going good, in my head, I'm like, well, this is how it's going to always be. And I'll never have a situation where I don't go to a meeting in a week, which is what happened just because of work and I was tired. And there will be moments where I don't go to a meeting for a week. And so
yes,
it gets hard.
And I get, I think I sometimes I get not wrapped up in, but I hear people talk about in a meeting what they're doing right now to stay sober, like what they're doing at this moment. I'm like, oh, that's the way it has to be all the time. And
it can't be all the time.
Yeah, because I give people a lot of authority. I don't know, but it's like nothing will ever be the same.
If we get on this podcast and I ask you, what did you do to stay sober? All you got to do to be successful, and we say this a lot in the meetings too, is say, I didn't drink today.
And I didn't.
Yeah. So that's honestly all you need to say.
Yes.
And then the rest is nice icing on the cake to help you live your life.
Buttercream icing on the cake.
Yeah, I would say buttercream. Unless it's like red velvet, you gotta go sour cream.
Wait, what?
Not sour cream.
Cream cheese?
You gotta go sour cream. Cinco de Mayo, ole.
What is this, a nacho cupcake? Ooh, I had some nachos for lunch.
Shit.
Shout out nachos, for real.
All right, we gotta get to your favorite part.
We're doing great.
Back to the book.
We've been doing an hour and a half.
Shoot, really?
No.
No.
Quite as important was the discovery that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. I have since been brought into a way of living infinitely more satisfying and, I hope, more useful than the life I lived before. That's good. That's really good right there.
Good job, Fred.
I like that. Yes, it is much more satisfying.
Useful than I'd lived before. That's the goal, is just to be of use, be an active participant. In
Man, there's someone, you know him, he, it rhymes, it's like the...
Chortle?
Yeah, Chortle.
Yeah. Love Chortle.
He really do be.
He do be Chortle.
Yeah, but he got a 7-year chip at No Expectations on Friday.
Oh, that's great.
And he was saying he'd like been to jail and stuff, and like they had to handcuff him. He had to hand and ankle cuff him. And he was just like, I was a bad guy. I was not a good person. and then look at them now. It's just like, yeah.
That's the mirror. Like, you see, when we talk about like spirituality and shit like that, I'm like, my God, rests in these like miracles of like when people make a psychic change and they turn their life around, and they're of use to other people, and they're of service to other people. I
can confidently say, like, today I am comfortable with the fact that it's like, oh yeah, I'm like a decent person in my day-to-day life.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm not excused from doing bad things, but I know when I'm doing bad things.
Yeah, and then I have tools to help me alleviate those bad things, or like set things right. Like, if I get too stressed at my work, I can go to the person and be like, it's not you, it was the stress of my work. I shouldn't have said it like that. Yeah.
So that's why when I have a girl problem, like, what? I'm perfect.
But I'm the best at this.
But I'm sober.
Look at my shark tattoo. Yeah. He's smoking a cigarette. Yeah. I came up with that.
Yeah, that was me. Well, me and my artists.
Yeah.
So here we go.
All right. I'm not.
It's okay. You can say it.
No. It's not funny.
I'm gonna think about it all night.
I'm starring as young Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You're insane.
That's totally what I was thinking. That's totally what I was thinking.
For those listening, please watch the podcast because it'll make more sense.
Yeah, it'll make a lot more sense because
watch the YouTube channel.
I'm wearing a Larry the Cable Guy wig, so
it's really good. You're funnier than he ever was, I must say.
Well, man, Walmart. I can't do a Larry the Cable Guy.
You ever? The only one I would do is, you ever forget what you had for breakfast? Farted? Smelled that fart, then remembered? That's funny right there. I don't care who you are.
No way. Is that a real joke of his?
No, I just made that up. That's like an example.
He is definitely not that far off. Wow. All right, here we go. Back to Fred.
I'm so sorry.
My old manner of life was by no means a bad one, but I would not exchange its best moments for the worst I have now. I would not go back to it even if I could. I hope he means that. Fingers crossed. Fred's story speaks for itself. We hope it strikes home to thousands like him. We had felt only the first nip of the ringer. Most alcoholics have to be pretty badly mangled. Excuse me.
Bless you.
I don't know what the heck is going on. Most alcoholics have to be pretty badly mangled before they really commence to solve their problems. And this is the paragraph I really like. I really like it so much. I think I mentioned it before. Yeah. But many doctors and psychiatrists agree with our conclusions. One of these men, staff member of a world-renowned hospital, recently made this statement to some of us. What you say about the general hopelessness of the average alcoholic's plight is, in my opinion, correct. As to two of you men whose stories I have heard, there's no doubt in my mind that you were 100% hopeless, apart from divine help. Had you offered yourselves as patients at this hospital, I would not have taken you if I had been able to avoid it. People like you are too heartbreaking. Though not a religious person, I have profound respect for the spiritual approach in such cases as yours. For most cases, there is virtually no other solution. Once more, the alcoholic at certain times has no effective mental defense against the first drink. Except in a few rare cases, neither he nor any other human being can provide such a defense. His defense must come from a higher power.
There you go. So we can't do it alone. We need another. There is so we talked about how there is a solution, some foreshadowing. We can't do it alone. We need a spiritual solution at the end. And then the next chapter, we're going to talk about that there is a spiritual solution.
Whoa.
We're going to turn everybody off from our podcast and talk about God.
We've already talked about God a bit.
Yeah.
God is
really going to go into G out of donate. Got to dive into God.
G out to dive into God. I like that second to last paragraph because it just breaks it down to what alcoholism and addiction really is.
Yeah.
At its core is a heartbreaking thing to experience and also see someone else going
all
through.
all the way around. The person that's struggling with it because it's such a mental disease that cannot be seen by other people. The heartbreak caused by his loved ones around, to his loved ones around him. Nothing you can really do, and so that's a really good. It's a really good summary of what we're dealing with.
Yeah, and it's where I was at the same meeting on Friday. There was
damn, I should have gone to this meeting on Friday.
This girl she looked rough. Like she didn't, like she went to the bathroom, she came back, and the look on her face was like, oh, she looks like she's really been through it recently, and she looks worn out.
Yeah.
Because it is like, drinking, doing drugs wears me the heck out.
Yeah. That's what finally kind of, I think, allowed me to try all the steps in the program was my complete exhaustion.
Yeah.
I've been exhausted before.
Yeah.
But it was a special type of exhaustion.
It's weird how, for me, it gets to a point where, like, the exhaustion reached a point where it was unbearable. Mm-hmm. Like, there was, like, when I first started drinking and doing drugs, I could deal with the hangover and that exhaustion. But maybe that's just the progression.
It's just being in your 20s.
Yeah. Maybe it's just being young. But as I've relapsed over and over again, it's like, oh, I can't do this. I can't operate. Like, I remember one time in college, I got really, really drunk. Go figure.
What? In college?
Yeah.
One time?
Yeah, but no, and then the next day I went to theater school, and this visiting artist was coming to do like some kind of workshop,
some bullshit
workshop
mirroring
about
the entire time,
about movement, viewpoints, something like that.
What if you were a walrus on ice?
But there's a small flame in your butt. Lead with your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's Michael Chekhov right there. But I showed up and I was just so hungover, but I still went because I guess I was 20.
If you were 22, you'd be happy, free, confused, and lonely at the same time. Taylor Swift lyric.
Oh man, she was in this city recently.
Yeah.
But my one professor was like, "You look ragged." I was like, "Yeah, I feel ragged." But for some reason, when I was younger, I could just deal with the hangover. I can't.
Yeah, physically, it becomes too much very quickly.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
And emotionally, for me and everybody else, it's too much very, very quickly. Mm-hmm. So I am forever grateful that not only not figured it out, but got to a point of exhaustion for me to try these steps, which are simple but sometimes hard.
Yes.
And I'm now to a point where I think Fred was talking about it. I'm super grateful that I'm an alcoholic because I have a way to deal with challenges in my life.
I'm glad I know I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah, but I'm saying these steps help me with other shit too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This is definitely I tried to share at a meeting the other day, and then someone got up and walked away. And
I don't want to hear it.
So and then someone else then got up. I was like, am I sharing bad right now?
I don't think so.
It was because it's a very small meeting.
Oh, okay.
So like everyone's listening to everyone intently, and then when I start sharing, the guy leading the meeting left to go to the bathroom or something. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I'm doing a bad job sharing.
It's always awkward.
Yeah. Especially in a small meeting, it's like I can't, because I hate feeling like I'm talking into nothing.
Where was this?
Triangle.
Oh, okay.
Man, there's this old guy I'll tell you off mic, but there's this old guy
we won't get too much into the details.
Talks so slow and talks.
Oh no! So you're at 4 o'clock at Triangle.
Yes. He's like, bro. I think he spent 20 to 25 minutes before he even turned the meeting over.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow. And then after everyone shared, he shared something. I'm like, brother, you're like, you have wisdom, but
you gotta respect it though, because he's a Vietnam vet.
That is true. And his name is George W. Bush.
The third.
The third one, the lesser known one.
Yeah.
The
he's
one
all
that,
like, meh.
He is kind of like it.
All right, I think that's good.
Wow. So next week
we'll be in better spirits.
We're at 50 minutes. I think we're good. 48.
Yeah. It was a shorter period of reading.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna read We Agnostics.
And my computer still toasts.
It's all right.
So there's not going to be a lot of editing for this one either. So it's
we stayed on track for the most part.
Yeah, we're gonna read We Agnostics. It's talking to we agnostics.
Yeah.
It's like a whole spirituality chapter. It's actually there's some really good stuff in it.
It's all good. This book, this book's saving my life.
It's saving my life too.
One day at a time. So is this program. Even though I can get off track, I do love, like, this will happen sometimes. I'll be somewhere and I'll be like, yeah, I'll be somewhere for sure. But I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm sober today.
It's pretty cool.
And I like just remembering, like, oh yeah, I'm sober. That's very cool, because the alternative really stinks. And I found something that really works for me. And sometimes I really reap I can just feel joy for like, oh, I'm not dying a slow, painful, alcoholic death.
That's what Fred was talking about.
Yeah.
He's like, I wouldn't trade this for any other thing.
It's this. There's self-knowledge there,
Yeah.
but it's self-knowledge accompanied by a relationship with God, a relationship here, starting a podcast. It's fun. This is a fun thing to do. We wouldn't be doing this if we were still fucked up. And it took us meeting back in AA to start doing this. Even though like people have reached out like, oh, you guys were so good at Whole World doing improv together. Like you had good chemistry.
And we were all doing
but we were in much different places then. We were
both struggling.
Yes, we were. And even though I got 13 and a half months while I was at Whole World and then relapsed and then it slowly went downhill. But we were just not where we are now. We both did not have a grasp on this program at all.
No. This is great. This is my favorite meeting of the week.
So I guess we should close with the y'all version of the Lord's Prayer. I've been meaning to want to say that at a meeting because I think it would really make people laugh.
Yeah, that would.
Because sometimes people will say the y'all version of the Serenity
Prayer. Do it
Prayer.
at a clubhouse because that's what they do all like the Lord's Prayer and stuff.
And then
the Lord's Prayer turns in-town people off. We can talk about that in like the spirituality.
My sponsor at is Boys to Men your home group.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's the best meeting in Atlanta besides this one.
Yes, but my sponsor, someone told me to take us out, and I was holding hands with my sponsor, and he said, "Do the Lord's Prayer." So I did because we never do it there, and people were just like, "What the fuck?" It really threw people off, and my sponsor it was so funny.
It's asking the same thing as all the other prayers.
It's very funny to throw people off in a meeting. I'm sure someone had a problem with it. But
who keeps us sober?
But I do want to throw out, all right, y'all version of the Lord's Prayer. I don't know what it would be, but it's a funny thing to.
Yeah, the we all version of the Serenity Prayer.
One time at a meeting,
use guys version.
Yeah, use guys.
I'm gonna be in New York this week. So
Yins?
Well, I'm not gonna be in Pittsburgh.
Go.
No. Why would I go to fucking? I guess I go. All right, we gotta end it. I'm just talking about Pittsburgh ballparks.
All right. Don't let Drew. What Drew knows about roller coasters, flags.
Well, I mean, in Pittsburgh, you gotta go to Kennywood and do.
Oh no, Drew, stop! No.
Do Phantom's Revenge. And Steel Curtain. These are roller coasters that I've never been on. These are in Pittsburgh.
No.
One of the largest independently owned theme parks.
Oh my god! Wow.
No, I want to go to PNC Park because it's beautiful, apparently.
Okay, I think we'll chop it up there. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
I'm Taylor.
I'm Drew, and I'm an alcoholic.
I'm an alcoholic. And we never figured out what Drew did to stay sober today, so I guess
I didn't do fucking shit. No, I prayed and went to a meeting. It was good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye.